Hello, I'm in a forest. There's people over there that probably think I'm weird. Here's some beer. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a forest in Scotland. It does seem a slightly odd place to be drinking an imported German Pilsner, but there is a reason. And that reason is that yesterday, as many of you will probably know, I spent the day at Lord's Brewing Co in Huddersfield enjoying all of John's fantastic beers. And then this morning we went out, had some breakfast, and we got taken to the wonder that is Crate Escape. It's basically the biggest, cheapest bottle shop possibly in the world. It's incredible. To be fair, most of the beers there are coming towards or are past their best before, which is why they are so cheap. But there are some absolute gems to be found, and I'm hoping I found one. Now, this is, as I said, an imported German Pilsner from the brewery Schwaben. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is their Das Keller Pils. It's a 5% unfiltered specialty Pilsner, basically. It's got a nice flip top on it. And we're going to find out, whilst we're in this glorious Scottish forest, what it tastes like. I should probably have said the actual reason for the Scottish forest is that it's Easter bank holiday weekend, and well, we're just fancying an adventure. They're not really related other than the fact that, well, I bought this and then I arrived here. And as I'm in the middle of nowhere, I don't really have the exact appropriate drinking glass for this beer, but what I do have is this pint glass from Black Isle Brewery with their Drink in Nature stamp on it, which, to be honest, just seems appropriate. This is the one I keep in my van at all times, just, well, in case I need to do an ad hoc beer review. Before we break into it then, here is a quick look at the bottle. It is all in German since it's an import, but it's a nice looking thing. It's it's unfiltered, so there's a load of yeast in the bottom. It's a little cloudy through the bottle, I don't know if you can tell. But the good news on this one is actually that it's not past or even quite at its best before yet. So it's good until the 20th of October, and today, well, it's Easter weekend, so we're at, I don't know, somewhere in early April. But anyway, let's get it open, shall we? Now, despite not having the right glassware in the glass, it is actually looking pretty good. The head's probably not retained as much as it would have done in the right glassware, but other than that, and other than the midge biting me on the back of my head, everything's looking pretty good, to be honest. It's definitely unfiltered. It's got a proper kind of yellow hue haze to it. Otherwise, looking pretty decent. So, aroma time. Oh, it's doing the business. It's bright, it's fresh, a bit of citrus, but as you'd probably expect, that nice, crisp, biscuity malt base just shines through. And to be honest, it's not too complex. It's pretty... It feels like it's going to be pretty easy going. And that is exactly what I want on a Sunday bank holiday weekend. So, let's do it, shall we? Cheers. Oh, wow. Yeah, so... It's kind of exactly what you'd imagine. Soft but strong malt. It's kind of, it's not too rich, but it's just malt prominent. A few zesty notes. Clarity, big, bright, mineral flavours. But also, it's got a proper Pilsner bitterness to the back in this one. Quite a big one at that. It's very drying, very bitter. There's a few juicier notes that finish it off as well. A bit of sweet orange, perhaps. And I have to say, given that I paid, I think it was about £1 a bottle for these. Yeah, that's a damn good time. Right then, quick top to bottom taste test so you really understand what this beer is all about. So initially, little bitter on the front of the tongue, relatively mild carbonation for the style, to be honest, but there is still definitely enough. Second phase is sweet, but also a bit floral, bit grassy. Very refreshing, very apt given the location we're drinking it in. And then as it gets towards the back of the tongue, bitterness really takes over. It's big, it's sharp, but it's super refreshing. It's actually very pleasing, if I'm honest, once you're aware that it's there. And then the aftertaste. Initially, the bitterness dies off a bit, but you start to get a few brighter, lemony, citrus and grassy notes. And that fades away. Bitterness drops off even more. And it's the crispest of crisp malt finishes that just tethers you out, and the bitterness never quite fully leaves. It sits there, it's still going now, and it just wants you to go in and take another sip. And that really probably is all you need to know about it. For me, I mean, when it comes to German lager, I like the big, bready, sweet Keller styles more than anything else. But there is a time and a place for a super crisp, slightly bitter Pilsner. This is one of those times, and it is absolutely delicious. And what I will say about it, it feels a bit more authentic, if you like, than a lot of Pilsners that are branded, well, beers that are branded as Pilsners in the UK right now. It's got a bit more brash, it's got a bit more body, it's got a bit more bite, and for that reason, it's an absolutely massive thumbs up from me. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really glad I bought a whole case of them, because that's the other thing about Crate Escape, you pretty much got to buy a crate. And that really is everything. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.